What is going on, everybody? Today I'm super excited to give you guys a rundown of my kayak setup for 2024. I'm running the Jackson Knarr and I've got it all rigged up, 3D printed some custom parts. So yeah, I'm going to give you guys a rundown starting with the bow and we'll work our way back to the stern. Okay, so first things first, up here in the front hatch, I've got my Livescope black box right there. And all I simply did was zip tie it to my rod tubes right there. So I didn't have to do anything special. That's actually held up pretty well, a lot better than I had actually expected. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that until I have any issues. Hopefully I don't. And yeah, that's holding up the weight of it just fine. Looking back in here, I am running two 20 amp hour amped outdoors lithium batteries, and I custom made this little battery box right here. Also designing a lid to go over top of it, but yeah, right now I'm just running it open just like that. You got my two quick disconnects right there, so I can plug one in for the Livescope itself, and then the other one is powering my other graph along with some other things that I'll show you here shortly. Okay, moving back just a little bit, I'll give you guys the rundown of this whole setup here. So I've got my Garmin graph right here. I've got my old Lowrance unit over here. Basically, I'm using my Lowrance graph for the charts out here in Colorado. I got those two right there, and a little camera set up for GoPro right there. And this is a little USB charger and voltmeter. So yeah, you pull that little tab up, and then I can use that to charge my phone, charge my GoPro, which is typically what I use it for, is charging my GoPro throughout the day while it's running. So I've got all that mounted on a piece of Jackson's tri-track right here, and you can order the tri-track from Jackson's website, and depending on where you mount it, you can actually cut it down to size. That's what I did with this piece. And these end pieces right here, they just slide in and out. So I cut it down to size using a Sawzall with a metal tip, and then yeah, that just basically hammered that guy in there, and so that finishes capping it all off. And I got that attached to the tri-track that comes stock on the Jackson Knarr, and I'm running 2.5 inch T-bolts by a company called PowerTech. So that's long enough to actually mount here, get through the entire tri-track, and then just a mighty mount knob right there to fix it into place. And you might look at this and also notice that I don't have any wires coming out of this box right here. And that's one thing that's cool about the tri-track, is it's hollow in the inside. And so I 3D printed, designed and 3D printed this whole casing myself. So it's deep enough where I could actually attach wiring to the USB and to the voltmeter right here. And then I'm running the wires actually into this tri-track. They run in this direction. They actually come out right there, and then they go in underneath the boat. I actually sort of messed up. I meant to run this wire through this tri-track so you wouldn't see it as well. But I messed up the wiring on that, and then by the time I realized it, I didn't want to undo all my work. And it's been working fine ever since. I just tucked it in underneath this tri-track. I have a hole drilled into the kayak itself that's hidden by the tri-track, so I'm running that wire through there, and then that goes down and connects to the battery. So it gives it a really clean look. Yeah, I'm super happy with that. And up here, I also 3D printed some rod tube deletes that I did for both sides. And yeah, that just plugs right in here to this top rod holder. And then of course I'm running my wires to my Garmin Livescope, and for the Lowrance unit, they go through there, and yeah, then they run up and connect to the battery. So that's that whole setup up there. Moving back here, just got the Mark IV Jackson pedal drive. This is a belt driven system, so there's no need for maintenance or anything like that. And yeah, it's this new pedal drive system, this Mark IV, it's much better than the old drive. I have had no issues with it so far. Of course, it comes with this this little track up here that you can mount anything that you want to it. I've got the Ram Mounts X Grip phone holder up here, and that's where I'll attach my phone if I want to go live on YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. Moving back a little bit more, right here I 3D printed this little, I guess I'll call it an L bracket, but this is for holding my scent. So I got my JJ's Magic, which just goes right in there, and basically the reason for that is I didn't want to build a scent into my actual boat, which I've done in the past, and then your boat stinks forever. So now I've got it hanging off the edge. And yeah, I usually just keep this this lid on very loosely when I'm actually out there fishing, and I'll take it off, dip my plastics in there, and then hang it over the side of the boat. So it's, once again, that scent's not getting inside. Put the cap back on, and yeah, it keeps everything nice and smelly free. So my micro power pole control right here, my up down control, and I just drilled a couple holes through that, and then once again track mounted that so I can take this off and put it wherever I want. That's a wireless unit right there, and yeah, that wirelessly connects to my power pole, which is right back there. Here's my actual Livescope pole right here. I'm not sure who makes this. I actually got the Livescope used from a buddy of mine, so and he just included this in the deal, so I'm not sure who actually makes this. I did 3D print a handle for it. It did not come with a handle, so it was actually pretty hard to steer it. But after I 3D printed that handle, and then I got a little set screw right there that makes it a bit more firm, so I can actually, you know, have a better handle, better grip to actually turn that Livescope around. But basically, I've got that track mounted to the tri-track right here. If I want to set it down, I just pull this little pin right here, just like so, and then it goes into the water like that. So right here I'm using the YakAttack double header to hold my paddle. That's the Bending Branches Angler Classic. Moving back from there, I 3D printed some light holders for the YakAttack button lights, LED button lights. And yeah, that way I'm basically doing all this 3D printing stuff to avoid putting holes in obvious places in the kayak. And I actually have these track mounted here, so I could unscrew this and I could move this along the track, not too far because it's still connected into a wire that goes down into the hull of the kayak, but I can loosen this and slide it up and down a little bit. But yeah, I found that that's a pretty good spot for the lights, and so there's really no reason to move it around. There's my control panel for that YakAttack switching system, and yeah, once again I've got that track mounted right here. The wires are going down into the hull of the kayak, going up front and connecting to my battery. So once those batteries are connected, I can hit power, and then I'm using that to bring power to the actual Lowrance unit up here. It's not connected to the Livescope. Like I said earlier, I have that directly wired to the battery. So once the battery is plugged in, I just power that straight on. But yeah, the switching system is what I'm using to turn on the button lights, and to turn on that Lowrance unit, to also turn on the voltmeter along with the USB power port. So yeah, that's all 3D printed custom designs that I measured out, and yeah, just had to do a bit of trial and error prototypes and stuff till I got everything situated the way that I want it. Of course, you got the handles right here to turn left and right. Another handles that I bought from somewhere cheap and track mounted. Got my rod holders right here. So I'll put rods into the kayak, and I'll actually still have room to hold 6. I actually hold up to 8 rods. I'll put 2 into the same rod tubes, and then I'll just space them out. I'll actually typically have 1 rod here on the floor, and then the butt of the rods go through these 3. So even with those 2 rod tube deletes, I can hold up to 8 rods with the horizontal rod stagers right like that. Currently, I am keeping the seat in the high position, and I've got a little cam strap right here that I cut down to size to connect these 2 bars together. This keeps the seat stable from moving up and down. Without that, if you don't necessarily need it, but if you really start pedaling pretty hard, then you'll get some lift from the front of the seat. So I'd recommend just getting a little cam strap and attaching those, and then it'll stay pretty firm on you. Right here, I've got a 3D printed catch board holder, and yeah, I've got my catch board right there, tournament identifier right there, and yeah, that just plugs into there, and the back of the board rests on the back side of the seat. It rests on that bar right back there. So yeah, that's how I'm doing that. Of course, I got my kayak cushion on there, which makes long days on the water go a lot better. You got my Jackson Thermarest lumbar support right there. Coming back here, I've got my Jackson bag that I just have attached to the seat right here, and this is where I'm keeping my fishing line, as well as sort of an emergency box. This is a box that has stuff for trout and crappie and just little fish if I can't get into my target species for the day. Then I've got a little, this comes with the boat. This is just the cup holder, and that's on a track mount right there. Moving back, I got my Boondocks landing gear, which is also track mounted. And one thing that I did was I took those PowerTech 2.5 inch T-bolts, and they're actually underneath the tri-track itself, so it starts down here and then runs through the length of the entire tri-track. The reason I did it that way instead of mounting it right here is I've seen some boats in the past where people track mounted and it actually broke through and damaged the track on the top side. So just to give it some more support, I actually mounted it underneath the tri-track, so now it's pulling all that weight from the bottom instead of the top. And yeah, that's been holding up really well. And basically what you have to do is you would have to unscrew, there's 3 screws that keep this tri-track in place, so unscrew all of it, drill a hole that goes all the way down to the bottom, and then run those bolts all the way through and then tie it off. And yeah, so that's how I got that guy mounted. This little piece right here, this came from my Jackson Big Rig, I believe. It was either the Big Rig or the Mayfly, I don't remember which, but it was supposed to be a spot for a fly rod holder. And I actually found that if I took those off, mounted them right here, and then ran some bungee through here, that I could use them to actually support the wheels for the boondock. So whenever I'm in transit, I actually keep these just as they are, so I don't need to take the wheels on and off all the time. Yeah, I just strap them in whenever I hit the road. Right here I've got my YakAttack BlackPak, and right in front of it I've got the Jackson utility box. And yeah, I mounted that to the actual BlackPak itself, and that's a good solution to store stuff. Like I got my tools in there, my pliers, I keep some scents in there, stringer if I'm going to keep any fish, some extra scents and whatever. It's sort of like a junk drawer. Every once in a while I'll just throw some baits in there if I'm done using them, something like that. So I'll take this off so you can see what I have underneath it. So if I take that off, you'll see how I actually 3D printed these little L brackets right here so that I could attach my BlackPak Pro to this piece of tri-track that runs right here. I had to get these L brackets designed pretty long so that I would have room for the actual utility box to plug in. And if I didn't do that, then the utility box would be running up against my landing gear right here. So yeah, that's why I had to make the L bracket so long, to get that BlackPak further away from that tri-track in order to mount that. And yeah, then right back here I've got my YakAttack VisiPole. So yeah, just the orange flag with the light that you screw, and then it gives you your white light that's required. Currently don't have anything here in the back hatch. So yeah, that's where the steering control is, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, I already talked about the power pole that I got there in the back. That is pretty much it. So yeah, that is the walkthrough of my 2024 setup, the Jackson Knarr. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot them in that comment section below. Thank you all for watching today's video. If you want to do me a favor, you can like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Once again, it goes a long way in really helping me out. And until next time, I'll catch you later.